happy Thursday. So I was flying back from DC this Tuesday, and then yesterday kind of just getting everything back in gear, and didn't have the chance to hop on here, but obviously we have to have our weekly show, and so I wanted to say hi and chat about something I've been thinking over for the last couple days that I think will really help you guys. So I was listening to a podcast, and this girl mentioned that we often think, follow me here, this is a tongue twister. We think that we're thinking positive thoughts. But when we sit down and write them out, we realize that we're not. Now, how do you know if you are truly thinking positive thoughts or you're not and you just aren't aware of it? Well, it's by how you actually live. It's by how you experience life as you're going through it. So when you walk into a room, are you a little socially insecure? When you are in a dating situation, or you're around men, or you're with your husband, are there negative body thoughts coming up? Or are there negative thoughts toward men coming up? Or scared thoughts around sex? All of this kind of stuff. There's the little one. When you're with your children, are there fearful thoughts coming up? Are there worried, anxious thoughts that really aren't biblical but are so natural feeling coming up? So how does life happen for you, if you will? And do you really think that that's what it would look like if your thoughts were truly true and positive and well and biblical and all of that good stuff? Most people think that they're thinking more positively than they are. And when we sit down and write out what's going on through our heads, it's like going through a trash dumpster sometimes. It's just the things that come up are stunningly negative and angry and bitter and sad and despondent sometimes. And so I would encourage you, if you get nothing else from this little video encouragement, to journal just a little bit. If it's not something you've ever done, it doesn't need to be some big grandiose, have to do it right, some kind of thing. Take a scrap piece of paper and just start writing whatever's in your head. And if you don't even know what's in your head, you can just say, I don't know what's in my head. But if I had to guess, I would say, and then start free-flowing, stream of consciousness, what comes out for you. And if you are a little more advanced, then pick a topic. Pick an area of your life where you're not experiencing the kind of results that you want to have, and just ask yourself a question. A great question to start with, to get you started, is how do I feel about my, body, marriage, friendships, children, house, job, relationships, whatever. Fill in the blank with that. And you might say, well, I know how I feel about that. I know how I feel about that. Do you? Or do you think you know how you feel about that? Write it down. I have learned about myself at this point that I don't even know what I'm thinking until I sit down and start writing. I have no idea. I have like a general vague sense, but if I can feel something stuck, like I can feel a fear around something, or I can feel an insecurity around something, or I can feel a sense of stuckness around something, I know that I'm going to have to sit down and start writing it in order to have any idea what's in there and why that's happening. Otherwise, I'm taking some pseudo-educated guesses. But for some reason, writing freehand, I really recommend handwriting. There's a different connection to the brain when we write with our hands rather than just typing. That starts to reveal what's in there. And you don't have to have 3 hours to do this. Just a little 15 minutes here, a little 30 minutes there, a little 5 minutes reviewing and adding a couple new thoughts, sprinkled throughout a week, 2 weeks, a month, is going to get you closer than you are now, right? So the point is, underestimate the positivity of your subconscious thinking, as depressing as that sounds, and sit down and write out just kind of random thoughts to see what's going on in there. That has been my path to freedom in so many different areas of my life. And it's not obviously the only step, but it brings up what you actually have in there that needs to be worked on. So afterward, you would do some other things. You'd pray over it. You'd talk about it with someone. You'd research that topic more to get facts rather than the fears that you have. But you first just need to know what kind of garbage is underneath there. And nothing brings it out quite like writing. So find whatever time you have. I mean, I have kept journals in the bathroom before because that's the only time I can get to myself sometimes. But if you need to in the morning while you're eating breakfast, if you have 5 minutes of quiet then, if it's, hey, maybe it's dictation on your phone while you're driving and it's a red light or something. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be handwriting. It doesn't have to be ideal, but something is better than nothing. And again, if you don't know where to begin, just pick an area of your life where you're feeling a little less than satisfied, a little less than healthy, or a little stuck, and say, I feel about, my fill in the blank. Here's what I feel about my fill in the blank, and then free write. Just go with it. And don't judge or censor yourself. No one's going to see this, and God already knows what you're thinking better than you know yourself, so you can't hide it from him, and you don't, well, you might need to hide it from other people, right? But no one's going to be looking over your shoulder, and don't stop yourself from writing things that may be coming up that you wish weren't. Right? So if you're maybe writing about your marriage, or you're writing about your body, or you're writing about, your job or your kids, and some pretty crappy stuff starts to come up, and you want to say, whoa, I don't think that, right? I don't feel that way. Apparently you do. Apparently there's something in there that needs to be released. So don't try to stifle how you're really feeling and what you're really thinking when it comes up through writing. Don't correct how you're feeling, because those feelings are just going to say, well, there it is, she's ignoring me again. And they're going to go right back down in there where they have been causing trouble. And you need them to come out. It's almost like vomiting up a poison, as awful of a metaphor as that is. But they need to get out of your system in order for your body to re-regulate, for your life to re-regulate and figure out, okay, what is going on? What is back to my healthy balance? What is where I really want to be, am called to be, need to be? And until we get this stuff out, we don't A, know what's in there in the first place, and B, we can't work with kind of a cleaner slate to get things back to where they need to be. So don't underestimate the negativity of your deeper subconscious thoughts and feelings. Even if you think nothing's wrong, if things aren't freaking fantastic in the areas that you have a great deal of control over, then I would recommend really journaling out what you're thinking around that, what's going on around that, how are you feeling around that. Doesn't mean things are going to change. You're suddenly going to get some massive promotion tomorrow or wake up next to someone different. Let's hope you don't, right? But you'll start to have something to work with to get things going in a better direction. And unless we're willing to do this, and it does kind of feel like vomiting sometimes, right? It's a really gross, like, ugh, everything comes out. It's not pretty to look at. It doesn't feel good. Sometimes there's tears. But we have to get it out to be able to get healthier. We really do. It's like when you have food poisoning and you think, this really sucks. I have to go through this, but it's got to get out of my system. It's got to go out one way or the other. I've got to get it out so that my body can go back to being well and things can kind of resort themselves. So that's my challenge for you today. And then I would love to know, I'm pondering creating something that have already had in the background. I don't talk about much. It's called the Bombshell membership. And I am giving it a little bitty makeover and figuring out how it can best serve women. It's been really valuable for the women who are in there currently, but it's flown under the radar, shall we say. And so I am going to relaunch it and call it the Bombshell Society, and I would like your input. So my thoughts currently are to do a longer form training each month. So those of you who were on the Hunger Games video this past weekend, you know that I give a lot more content when I get a lot more time, and I can talk to you girls, and we have a set date to look forward to, and you can prepare questions and make plans to be there. And so it would be that, and it might even include some true group coaching. So I'm just kind of trying to figure it out, but I would love your input. What would be most valuable? This would be about a $15 a month investment, and I would love to know, if you were to spend that kind of money, what would help you most, right? Obviously, I can't fly to your house for 15 bucks and change your entire life, but what would be a good bite-size support for you? Would it be a training where I'm mostly doing just teaching and then you have a couple questions at the end? Would it be more of group coaching where we get on a small call and you guys have just the ability to be personally coached by me kind of in 5-10 minute segments around something that's really going on in your life? I would just love to know what you would find valuable, because that's how I shape what I do. I want to be able to serve you and get you closer to where you want to be and where God wants you to be. So that's my deal for this week. Let me know what you would love to see in a bombshell society, and get those negative, junky thoughts out on some paper so that you can figure out what you have to work with and get your body and your life back to a healthier spot, okay? Love you, bombshells. Have a beautiful weekend coming up. We are full on in Mardi Gras season here, so parades are everywhere and traffic is stopped. But I hope that you are just having a fantastic week, and that this weekend is restorative and relaxing, and maybe you can even get a little bit of journaling in. Much love to you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.